So when it comes to uni, I feel like we always just talk about how fun uni is, the friends we make, the parties we go to, the independence, but failure is never really spoken about because it's embarrassing to fail because the main thing they will think is that you're dumb because you failed.
On another episode of Keeping Up with Queen P.
The very first time I failed a module was in my second year. I failed this module called the Law of Contract. Not gonna lie, I really understood why I failed. I was not paying attention. I was partying too much. My mind was just mainly focused on the fun experience of uni and forgetting that I'm actually there to learn. I'll be sitting at the back of the class. I'll be coming to class late. So obviously, God was like, what you sow, you shall reap. And I reaped what I sowed. My third year, I had to redo that module again. It was quite embarrassing being a third year student entering a class with second year law students because they'll be asking, oh my gosh, is the module that difficult? Why did you fail? I'm so scared. What are you doing here? So many questions would be coming to your head. And then seeing your other peers in third year chilling, relaxing, because for me, when I had the law of contract, it used to clash with my other third year modules. So sometimes I wouldn't be able to go to those third year modules, and they would see me walk into that second year class and be like, no, like Queen P, where you headed to? And I'm just like, I failed. I'm back in that class that we used to laugh about when the lecturer was like, if you don't pay attention, you're going to fail. That was me. I had to accept my failure. I had to swallow my pride and continue going. So was my third year. I had to write my first regular exam for that module. I ended up failing again. And this time, guys, I did put in effort. And I didn't understand why I failed. And that's also the cons of uni because it's not like high school. You can really put in a lot of effort when it comes to a certain module, but you sometimes will not receive that effort back. And I just had to swallow that pride and just move on to supplementary. And that was also very much embarrassing because people saw me in the regular exam and they're like, how can you fail again? So I went to go do my supplementary, and I put in a lot of effort. I put in so much effort. Like I said, the effort did not come back, and I got 43%. I still passed, I made it, but if they took 1 mark away, I'll be redoing that module again, and I'll be sitting for yet another year. But then again, it's just like you're trying to tell me I only knew 43% of the content. Cap, capital cap, but I can't change anything. I had to move on. Well, at least I passed and I got the law of contract out of the way. But then again, in my third year, I failed another module. This module was called criminal procedure. So at UNAM, when it comes to exams, there are two exams. There's first op and second op. First op is basically your regular exam. Second op, if you're not ready to write the regular, you can choose to write second opportunity. So I wasn't ready for that module because my CA was really low. I had like 45% as my CA. So I was like, no, I am going to do second op. I did second op and I got a 0. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I put in effort. There, I will not lie to you, I put in effort. One thing about me is I'm a very honest person. I put in so much effort. The notes were amazing, but I got 0. And I was the only person out of like 200 law students that failed criminal procedure in third year. It was very embarrassing to tell other people that I failed. I don't think I even told all my friends that I failed. If you're watching this, guys, yes, I failed criminal procedure. Yes, I got 0 in the exam. And that was very embarrassing, super embarrassing. Even my parents were just like, what happened? And I'm just also like, I don't know. I opened up the paper and literally I wanted to cry. I tried to write. My mother always told me, try and write something. Don't give up. I tried to write something, but I genuinely did as wanted to cry. That's how bad it was. Then again, you can't cry over spilled milk. So took that third year module into my fourth year, completed it, got 67 in the exam. So like my CA was, no, my total was 68. So there, I did a really good job. Moving on to my fourth year, in my last semester, which was last year, November, I failed two modules, company law, tax law, failed, had to rewrite stuff. I was so devastated again. That feeling of like anger came in again. That feeling of embarrassment came in again. I just felt also alone because I was supposed to finish exams on the 11th of November and seeing my other peers, celebrating that they're graduating because we got our marks already. Usually they give you your marks before so that you know if you qualify for SAP or not. So people were there celebrating, themselves graduating and everything like that. And I was basically left in the dark. So I felt quite alone because I'm like, I can't tell these people what I'm going through because sometimes people don't really have the right things to say when they're not in your position. So I just kept quiet about it, cried my tears, but I was so scared, to write supplementary for both those modules. I didn't even have any faith in myself. It even got to a point where I told myself, like, you know what, I'm just not gonna write. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm just not going to write any of these modules on supplementary. Yeah, I was just like, nope, that's not gonna happen because what do you mean I failed? And I put in the effort. But then again, I was telling myself that no, you are not a quitter. You are not a quitter. And I switched my phone off. I studied 10 times harder. And it even made sense. I understood actually where I went wrong. And I passed. I passed both of those modules. And here I am as a graduate. When you fail a module, it's okay. It really is the circle of life. It's a part of the university experience, but it's how you pick yourself up again. Sometimes you really cannot escape failure, and it's how you push yourself through it, and it's also the mindset that you have. Because I really allowed my ego to get in the way of actually seeing that I was given a second opportunity to prove myself wrong. And it's also a thing of like, leave other people alone and focus on yourself, babes. Focus on the second opportunity that you have been given. I feel like it's also a thing of like learning to change perspectives because me failing contract law, me having to rewrite company law, tax law, me failing criminal procedure. What if that was God's way of saying that maybe those are your specialties? Maybe once you graduate, you might be a contract drafter or you might be a company secretary. And also, when I failed contract law, I remember that I had a full Wednesday off where I didn't even have to go to any lectures. I didn't have to go to school at all because I failed. So even though I failed, I had an added advantage where in my second semester, I had a Wednesday and a Friday off because as law students, we don't have school on Friday. So imagine having a Wednesday and a Friday off. And that gave me a lot of time to put in to my schoolwork. So you see how the advantage actually also, how that disadvantage worked in my favor. And then I know my cousin, we just spoke like a few minutes ago before I continued this video, and she told me that she's unfortunately not graduating because she forgot that the module that she cancelled, she forgot to redo a module that she cancelled, and she only found out in her fourth year. But because she didn't finish that module, she has to unfortunately stay for another year to complete that module. And I told her to change the way that she's thinking because I'm not gonna lie, obviously you're going to feel bad. Obviously you need to, have that cry. But I told her, what if this is God's way of saying that when you have kids, you need to check up on them and make sure that they don't walk in the same footsteps that you did? Sometimes it's really about changing the way you think and understanding that later on you will understand the reason as to why, you failed and had to redo it again. Even with criminal procedure, our first lecturer who taught my group criminal procedure, he was so horrible. And I can even say that I know criminal procedure way better than my group of classmates. I know how to draft a guilty plea. I know how to draft a non-guilty plea. I know how a charge sheet looks like, and they don't know anything. They only know three topics. Let me know down below in the comments if you've experienced failure in your varsity life and let's talk about it.